I feel a little bit like Captain Ahab, and I snagged Moby Dick because I've wanted to interview Senator John Kennedy for a very, very long time. I have to say, of all the great quotes from Senator John Kennedy, the junior senator from Louisiana, my favorite is when he said, "I say this gently, this is why the aliens won't talk to us." I mean, this guy's a classic. He's smart. He's got clarity coming out of his pores. Senator Kennedy, I hope you can hear my voice, how excited I am to get to spend a few minutes with perhaps one of my favorite senators of all time. Thanks for joining us, sir.
Oh, thank you, Mike, for having me. I love your show, man.
Is that the problem, do you think, right now with the Democrat Party, that the leadership is just become so far left that they'll never come back to normal again?
Well, here's what I think most Americans see, Mike. It's a great question. Republicans aren't perfect. God knows we're not. But the other side's now crazy. If you want to understand the shutdown, here's what's going on. About Tuesday, a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, yesterday, or whatever day it is, our country was rocking along. We were minding our own business. Our federal budget expired at midnight, but we weren't worried. We'd been talking to the Democrats about just extending it and continuing to negotiate. And then all of a sudden, Senator Schumer comes forward at the last minute and says, I'm not going to vote to keep government open, and I'm not going to let my people vote to keep government open unless you give the Democrats $1.5 trillion, and we're going to tell you how it has to be spent. Well, you can imagine our reaction. My mother didn't raise a fool, and as I say, if she did, it was one of my brothers, and my colleagues felt the same way, and President Trump felt the same way. And that's what this shutdown is all about. The Democrats have tried to muddy the waters to make them look deep, but that's all this thing is about. Now, why is Senator Schumer being like that? Well, first, it takes 60 votes to get anything done in the Senate, which is why Senator Schumer has leverage over us. But number two, Senator Schumer is in trouble politically with his party. The Democratic Party is now run by the Hamas wing, the Loon Wing, the socialist wing, whatever you want to call it, of the Democratic Party. And they're mad at Schumer, and he wants them to love him. And the leader of the party is Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez. And Senator Schumer wants to ingratiate himself to her. And really, that's why we're shut down. It's not a policy shutdown. It's a politics shutdown.
Of course it is. And Senator, we're seeing the Democrats implode. And I know as a conservative talk show host, this might seem too good to be true, but it does feel like the Democrats are cratering. This week, you saw Nancy Pelosi blow up at a young reporter and scream, "Shut up," to her and stick her finger in her face when the reporter dared ask about the then speaker's actions during January 6th. You've got this communist who possibly is going to become the next mayor of New York. They're like adrift at sea. It feels like they're a cork bobbing around in the ocean right now. Or am I overstating that? Do you think they're in as bad a shape as I think they are?
Well, they're clearly in disarray, Mike. I mean, and clearly the socialist wing of the party is in ascendancy. They're in control. And again, the leader is Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez. It's not Nancy Pelosi anymore. It's not, though I think she'd like to be. It's not really Senator Schumer. And these people, they're crazy. They hate George Washington and Thomas Jefferson and Abraham Lincoln and Dr. Seuss and Mr. Potato Head. They think they're all racist. They think our children should be able to change genders at recess. They believe in open borders. They believe that cops are a bigger problem than criminals. I could go down the list. And that's why the American people, that's why they lost the last election, and why the American people are just scratching their heads. And I think they're as exasperated as I am. I don't want us to be in a shutdown, but I'm not going to agree to give them $1.5 trillion.
Well, and we're not going to agree. I mean, health care for illegal immigrants, Senator Kennedy, is a bridge too far. And of course, they're gaslighting us. They're pretending, well, they don't want health care for illegals. Of course they do. They want illegals to be able to vote. They want to provide more benefits to illegals than they do many poor Americans who are desperate for assistance. This is the craziness that you're talking about with today's Democrat Party.
Well, they do support free health care for foreign nationals in our country illegally. In fact, one of their demands is that we repeal the portion of the One Big Beautiful Bill that would crack down on the provision in the blue states of free health care to illegal immigrants. And the truth is that if you're in our country illegally and you want free health care, all you have to do is claim asylum. And we tried to, and a lot of people who claim asylum are not telling the truth. They're not here because they're being politically persecuted. They're economic migrants, which is fine. We have a legal immigration system. You're supposed to get in line and allow yourself to be vetted. So my Democratic colleagues are just not telling the truth when they say they don't want health care for people in our country illegally.
But Senator, you're the kind of guy that I've wanted to ask about the Democrats' true intention. I've said as just a big mouth talk show host that when you see the intentional, the willful way Democrats oppose law enforcement, oppose border security, oppose things that make communities better, safer, cleaner, it feels to me and to many people in my audience that this destruction is intentional, that they either hate America so much that they want to tear it down, or they want to destroy our cities and our states because they want to take control. But do you agree, Senator Kennedy, that this feels like this is deliberate, that it's intentional, that they are absolutely with purpose trying to destroy our country state by state, city by city? Is that fair or not?
Yes, it's fair. I mean, you just look at the facts. Now, I want to add this caveat. Not every Democrat agrees with the socialist wing of their party, but the socialist wing of their party has taken control. I call them the Loon Wing of the party. And the more moderate Democrats are scared. They're sitting back and watching the socialists about to elect a new mayor, a socialist mayor of New York. If the reasonable Democrats, the moderate Democrats, the non-crazy Democrats would stand up to the Loon Wing of their party, I think they would have the votes to throw them out. But they're scared of them. And frankly, I tell this to my Democratic colleagues who aren't crazy all the time. You need to go to Amazon and buy a spine online. Why do you want to allow these folks, the Loon Wing of the party, who do hate America? They feel animosity for America when they should feel gratitude. And I don't understand why the other Democrats allow them to run things, but they do, and that's from a selfish political standpoint, that's probably good for Republicans, but it's horrible for our country.
Oh, I mean, I feel that way about as a longtime New Yorker, and finally I fled to Florida a few years ago, like our mutual friend Sean Hannity did, and so many others. I hate what New York might be experiencing if they get this guy elected. But from like you said, a selfish political point of view, this will be great for the GOP. This will be great nationally if the country sees what a failed experiment this is going to be like. It's good for us politically. And by the way, quickly, can I ask you, when you talk to your normal Democrat friends, and I have normal Democrat friends too, and they quietly and sort of secretly say to me that they are appalled at the Zoran Mondami and Ayanna Pressley wing of the Democrat Party. Is that what you get too from your colleagues, Senator, on the Hill? Do your colleagues who are normal Democrats, do they express the same mortification about some of these crazies that we do?
You know, sometimes I feel a little like Captain Ahab. I finally snagged Moby Dick, because I've been trying to catch the truth about what's going on in Washington for a long time. Now, let me tell you what this latest shutdown is really about, and it ain't complicated. 2 weeks ago, our country was humming along, minding its own business. Then, all of a sudden, Senator Schumer comes along and says, "We're not keeping the government open unless you give us $1.5 trillion and we're gonna tell you exactly how to spend it." Well, my mama didn't raise a fool, and if she did, it was one of my brothers. So we said, "No sir," and that's how we got here. The Democrats are trying to muddy the waters to make them look deep, but it's as plain as day. This shutdown isn't about policy, it's about politics. Now you might be asking, why would Senator Schumer do that? Well, first, it takes 60 votes to get anything done in the Senate, so he's got leverage. But second, and more importantly, he's scared to death of his own party. You see, the Democratic Party today isn't run by moderates anymore. It's run by the Moon Wing, or, as I like to call them, the Loon Wing, of the party. The socialists, the radicals, the folks who think George Washington was a racist, Abraham Lincoln was overrated, Dr. Seuss was dangerous, and Mr. Potato Head needs therapy. These are the same people who think cops are worse than criminals, that our kids should be able to change genders at recess, and that our borders ought to be wide open because apparently walls are mean. Now, I don't hate anybody, but I'm not going to sit quietly while people who hate America try to burn it down just because they don't like the wallpaper. And make no mistake, what they're doing is intentional. You can see it in their policies. They oppose law enforcement. They oppose border security. They oppose anything that keeps America standing tall. They're not trying to fix the country. They're trying to remake it. I tell my moderate Democrat friends all the time, go to Amazon and buy yourself a spine online, because they're sitting back, scared of the radicals, watching their own party self-destruct. And Senator Schumer knows it. He's a smart man. He knows this foolishness is going to destroy his party, but he's afraid of them, afraid of losing power. And that's what this whole game is about. Not leadership, not service, not the American people, but keeping your nameplate on the office door a little bit longer. Now, look, Republicans aren't perfect. Lord knows we're not. But at least we still believe in America, in hard work, in law and order, in common sense. The other side has traded all that for chaos and hashtags. So when I see this nonsense going on, from healthcare for illegal immigrants to shutting down the government to make a point nobody asked for, I just shake my head and think, this is why the aliens won't talk to us. But I'll tell you this, I have the right to remain silent, but not the ability. I say what I think. Some people like it, some don't. I don't lose sleep over it. Only thing I really worry about is whether dogs like me, because dogs, they're good judges of character, so as long as the dogs still wag their tails when they see me, I'll keep fighting the good fight, for Louisiana,